Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to show you these double oven mitts. These make great gifts. They make a great housewarming gift also. I am making quite a few of them because of the holidays, and so I'm actually going to just make a template out of wax paper. I have made 32 and 36-inch in length. They are 7 inches wide, all of them, but I like having a little bit of different lengths just for different things that I'm doing. With Thanksgiving coming up or the holidays, it's nice to be able to throw one on the table when you have a very hot dish. It's so helpful to have those. So I like to have several different ones. The longer ones are really good for grabbing something out of the oven. And with the new way of binding that I have found, thank you to the people that have showed me how to do this, the pocket binding is a game changer. And I will show you how I do the pocket binding on this. And for this you are going to need a layer of Insulbright, and you're also going to need a layer of batting. So you want to get them cut to size. You could use different colors for the front and back. For this one, I really love this fabric, so I'm going to do this on the front and the back. If you're enjoying this video, I hope you'll hit the like button and consider subscribing. And now I will put it together. I will lay one layer down. I put the batting down. And then the Insulbright goes down. You want to make sure, this is so important, to make sure the shiny side goes up. The shiny side is what it will touch the hot plate when you pull it out of the oven. And then you want to put a layer of fabric down. Because there are so many layers, I am going to go ahead and quilt this. And I love the way it looks when it's quilted. I am using chalk to draw my lines, and I'm doing them every 2 inches. I will be rounding the ends, but I'm going to wait until after it's quilted, because when you quilt fabric, batting, all the things, all the different layers, it tends to shrink a little. So that is why I'm waiting. And I did go back over the opposite way to make a crisscross pattern. You could use a walking foot to sew this. I tend to just go for it without. And now it is time to get the pockets ready. I like to trim it up all the way around. If there's any extra things sticking out or they shouldn't be sticking out, I just cut them off. It doesn't have to be exact. They come out beautifully. I also made a template for the pocket. The pocket is 7 inches wide by 8 inches in length. And I put it right on there and use the chalk again to draw the lines and then cut that off. I just love the way this looks with the quilted look. Now I get the pockets ready. For the pockets, you don't have to worry about using the Insulbright. I will just use 2 layers of fabric and 1 layer of batting. And you can mix up the size however you want it, but I am doing my pockets at 7 inches wide by 8 inches in length. And that is how easy it is to put your pockets together. Now I'm going to do a little binding for each pocket top. But before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and get all the binding ready. I wanted to do a little test. I cut this binding on the bias and I wanted to see if how much better that made it with doing it that way or just straight cutting it. And I definitely will say cutting it on the bias does make it more stretchy, but I also was able to make it work with just strips. So maybe just play around with it and do what works best for you. I put the binding on the top, sew it down, sew it on both sides. There are a couple different ways you can do this here. I'm going to go ahead and pin it down and I want to secure the pockets before I even mess with the binding. I just need them to not move and it just makes me feel better. And I'm also going to just secure all the edges and go all the way around. And then double check, all the way around and make sure there's no edges that need to be trimmed. Now when I start this pocket, I'm going to turn the corner in just like this. I have a full video on how to do the binding if you want to check that out. But I just do it just like this. You sew down just a little ways. Then you want to stop, fold the binding over just like that. And then you want to go about 2-3 inches down from where you sewed. That's going to give you the pocket for when you come back around. So there you go, right there. And then you just want to sew that all the way around. This pocket method actually makes me love quilting even more. It's just so easy. So now that I'm back to where I started, I'm going to go about 2 inches longer than where I started, and all I'm going to do is tuck that into the pocket and continue sewing. It just doesn't get any easier than that. And I love how this looks. Now when I do sew the binding down and I do it by hand, I do go front and back and do a couple stitches on that fold just to make sure it is secure. But I do like that you wouldn't have to hand sew it. You could sew it with machine to it be faster, but I've always loved the look of hand binding. These are so much fun to make. I hope you'll give it a try. And at the end of this video, I'll put up 2 of my other videos if you'd like to click on them. And I want to thank you so much for watching.